Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. So let's review some of the best narcissism hacks out there. Listen, we all need these hacks, right? You need these to survive. Most people don't love these hacks because they don't really shut the relationship down or allow you to get revenge on the narcissist or change them. And that's either because that's probably not it's not possible to do that, but hacks are quick, right? I mean, I know other people don't love the hacks I'm about to share because to really accept that these hacks work, that these things are true, then it's when the day you become aware that this relationship really isn't a relationship. And some people aren't ready to hear that. But I promise you this. If you do have a narcissistic relationship in your life that you cannot get out of, these hacks will actually make your life run a little more smoothly. Will they help you get past the grief? No. There's still a lot of hurt when you recognize that someone you love and something you hoped would be different isn't. But a hack isn't meant to turn a ship around. It's meant to keep the ship sailing a little longer and hopefully before it sinks. Hacks are the equivalent of carrying around a roll of psychological duct tape with you to fix and prevent the things that are going to happen in these relationships. Some of these I've already talked about, but you need to see them as the hacks they are. The first hack, and again, this is review, but I don't think you can review this enough, is don't go deep. You know this hack, right? But if you're new to this channel, don't go deep means that if you're in a narcissistic relationship, don't defend, don't engage, don't explain, and don't personalize. We have entire videos on this, so I'm not going to belabor it here. But this hack is just like it sounds. And the overarching theme of this idea of don't go deep is disengage. So much of the misery of narcissistic relationships is created by you engaging with them. When you don't go deep, you don't take the bait, you don't get into the mud with them, you don't waste time, and you don't set yourself up to be gaslighted. It's harder than it sounds. When someone is twisting our words and our intentions, we want to explain and defend ourselves. We want to take the fight, and yeah, it sure as hell does feel personal. Narcissistic people will do this, their stuff, the gaslighting and all the rest of it, to anyone who gets close enough to them. There isn't something specifically wrong with us. But the fact is, the more you disengage, the less you will be mired in their BS. Again, don't go deep to me is a brilliant hack, but I know that a lot of people have trouble getting here. The second hack is don't talk about the good stuff, don't talk about the bad stuff, and just stick to the weather. Again, another hack I've talked about in the past. Stick to the weather. What does that mean? I mean, listen, this is a hack I've been yammering on about since the 2010s. It's a riff on not going deep, but in a more specific way. In your life with a narcissistic person, you're going to talk to them about stuff. Well, one thing you want to remember is do not share good news. Do not share bad news, at least not first with them. A mistake that a lot of folks make is that they may believe that the narcissistic person will finally be proud of them because of your good news, or you'll win them over with your good news. Nope. Your good news will either be viewed as a threat, as a competition, as something they're bored by, and they'll most likely criticize or minimize it, and that feels terrible. Always take your good news to people who you know will be happy for you. Close friends, anyone healthy. People who will be loving custodians of your good news. Then, if you ever do share that good news with the narcissist, their lukewarm or mean reaction will not undo the joy of sharing it clean and clear first with those who appreciate it. It's the same with the bad news. Maybe some folks think that the narcissistic person will fix the bad thing or listen to it with some reasonable empathy. And this often comes up when it's health stuff. I've known many people will think, okay, now the narcissistic person is going to hear I'm sick, that they'll finally be good to me. They'll take care of me. No way. Narcissistic people do not like sick people, though they're very good at lapping up the sympathy if they're the one who's sick. Narcissistic people also don't like problems. So if you have bad news, same drill. Take it to people who will empathically help you problem solve. And while you may have to ultimately share the bad news with the narcissistic person, depending on the nature of your relationship with them, for example, the bad news has to do something with the house and you guys live in the same house, get some normal and supportive feedback first before you dive headlong into their rage. And perhaps you may even have some actionable solutions you've developed first with other people. So what does that leave for you to talk about with them? Indifferent topics. The weather, the new coffee shop in town, daylight savings time, that kind of thing. Is it sad that this is all you can talk about in this relationship? Yeah, I guess it is. But that's how it is. A hack isn't meant to fix the relationship. It's meant to help you get through the day. The third hack, let the narcissist have the last word. You may be saying, Dr. Ramani, what? They get to have everything and now they get to have that? Listen, if you want this relationship to kind of motor along without it always being a volatile mess, you're going to have to get some ego out of the way. Yes, it can feel like they're winning if they get the last word in, but it's a part of the larger hackiness of disengaging. It doesn't matter if they get in the last word. Nothing they're saying really makes sense. Everything is a power play for them. And if that means the go nowhere conversation with them can end, great. It doesn't mean that you're giving in. It actually means you're no longer wasting your time. Consider them getting in the last word a win for you and a punctuation mark on the nightmare of the conversation with them. Number 4 hack. Treat your conversations with them like a deposition or a legalish conversation where gray rock meets yellow rock meets saying as little as possible. Years ago, when I was working at the university as a professor, I had to have a very, very unpleasant meeting with somebody that involved an unpleasant person and another colleague who was actually a decent guy. Before I went into the meeting, the two of us were going in with the unpleasant person. He looked at me and he said, "We aren't going to say anything. We don't have to say anything. We're just going to let this person dig their own hole." The nature of the meeting was for this person to have the opportunity to air their grievances about something. And I got to tell you, the temptation, because I personally was very angry at this person, the temptation would be to say something. I watched this colleague of mine, this decent man colleague, calmly sit there, listen to all of it, nod his head, not engage with it. And when it was done, he looked at the unpleasant person and he said, "Thank you so much for your time." And he got up and he left. Lawyers use silence and non-response very well. It's annoying, but it works. When the narcissistic person is talking to you, just listen. You can sit there, don't have to be stony-faced, but just sit there. You can toss in a few, okay, I see, nod your head. If you're asked a pointed question, answer it, but briefly, just as you would be taught to do by a lawyer in a deposition. I know, this sounds awful. It's not a relationship. No, it's not a healthy one. And this can at least keep you in the conversation and not stonewall or silent treatment, but not get pulled into the storm with them. A lot of times narcissistic people get inflamed if we interrupt them. Using this sort of deposition kind of approach means you just sort of stay calm and let them, again, dig their own hole. The 5th hack, don't share the evidence with them. When people gaslight us, we desperately want to share the evidence. Look, you said this. See, you did this. Or look what I did. And here's the email showing it. They don't care. Narcissistic, gaslighty people have no use for evidence. They just want you to go along with them and be under their power and control. It is frustrating and it's not good for you to share the evidence and then have it shut down. Or worse yet, they tell you that you're crazy and paranoid for always showing them these messages. Don't you have anything better to do? So don't show them the evidence. You know who that evidence is for? That evidence is for you. To remind you that in fact, no, you're not crazy. Yes, they are trying to pull you into their alternate reality. The proof is for you, not them. You aren't going to convert them, so don't waste your time. Again, this is not easy to do, but can save you a world of headaches. Sixth narcissist hack: always have a plan B. Narcissistic people will regularly pull the rug out from under you regarding everything in life. From big ticket stuff like canceling a vacation at the last minute or not being willing to bring you home from the hospital or a surgery, to small ticket stuff. Forgetting to pick up a crucial bit of groceries on the way home or not bringing the main course they said they'd be bringing to a dinner. Narcissistic people tend to be inattentive. And if the thing that is in question is important to you, but is not important to them, it's just not high on their list. They don't care. There is no point in getting mad at them for forgetting because they don't care. And now you've opened the door on them just getting mad at you and you lose your whole evening to the argument. And this hack is a reminder of why narcissistic relationships are so expensive and bleed you of resources. Because to be in a narcissistic relationship means you always have to have a plan B. You have to have backup ingredients or extra groceries or drag the kids to the store to get that one essential ingredient for dinner or ensure that you always have a friend on backup for your surgery pickup or have something that you can thaw for that potluck dinner party. In essence, when you're in a narcissistic relationship, you're doing everything twice, making plans twice, making backups for backups. It can make the relationship feel like a military operation in which you're having to figure out multiple plans of defense and offense. And while that works great on the football field and probably in a war, you don't want that to be your life. However, if you do this and have all these plan Bs, you may get the win of protecting yourself and others, such as kids, from disappointment. If I look back at my life and at the amount of time and money I have wasted on my plan B, C, D, E, all the way down, the months of life, the tens of thousands of dollars, it's horrifying, the amount of waste. But when I didn't have this plan B, the disappointment often broke the hearts of so many people close to me, as well as myself, and I sometimes missed out on things that mattered. Taken together, these hacks basically amount to disengage and have a plan B, right? These relationships, the people, narcissistic people in these relationships, cannot be counted on. It's like trying to plan an outdoor wedding in New England. Good luck with that. It all boils down to living in chronic conditions of preparedness, not just practically, but within your heart. Many people don't like these hacks because it means they really have to see these relationships for what they are. And I believe that anything that can get you closer to radical acceptance is a win. Narcissistic relationships are a masterclass in disappointment and frustration. And these hacks may not fix the broken heart, but may help you waste less time in the narcissistic relationships that you can't avoid. Whether that is a colleague in a job you can't leave, a mother-in-law you can't duck, a sibling who is part of a family system, or a partner with whom you have young children. These hacks are that little bit of duct tape that may keep the car bumper on for another day. And as a final note, if you are interested in doing a deeper dive into healing from narcissistic relationships, deeper than just hacks. Hacks are great, but if you really want to heal, you really have to be willing to explore a lot of the themes in your narcissistic relationship. Check out the link in this video description to pre-order my new book, It's Not You, coming out in February, or sign up for my monthly healing program, also in the video description. Like I said, these programs, this book will take the hacks and level it up to real healing. Thanks again.